Okay, on to question number 9, and this is a 2-minute question. You have up to 2 minutes to go ahead and respond, and we'll begin with Mr. Marlowe. The question is, with nearly 92% of the city budget coming from sales tax, and given the cyclical nature of the business and economic climate currently that we have, along with the potential expansion of city services, how do you plan to address any fluctuations and potential shortfalls in sales tax revenue collections? Is there some type of reliable and predictable source of recurring revenue that you would think about?
Well, one of the things I said a while ago is that we, as a government, as a city entity, must live within our means. If we have to tighten our belt, we have to tighten our belt. But at the same time, you have to be open to the public and to the needs that they feel like are necessary to ensure that we have the quality of life that the city wants. You know, if you get more, usually you have to pay more. But at this point in time, I would not be willing to push for any type of additional funding stream. It may come up later, but not at this time. Spending practices, it's got to be reviewed. They have to be reviewed to ensure that what we're spending our money on is what we need to be spending our money on. Additional commercial growth, that's a must. And that's been said by all 4 candidates up here, and we've all stated why that is so important to increase our commercial growth, and it's to fund the needs of the city and to fund the needs of the people. It can be done at this point in time with what we are getting, but it's going to take some hard work and some effort on everyone's part. Thank you.
Mr. Mack.
Well, clearly we need to continue to grow revenues from retail and keep the sales tax monies coming in. We need to watch our spending. We've essentially doubled our retail sales tax revenue in the last 4 years. But this question really gets to a property tax. That's really what the writers are trying to get us to do, is to state our position on a property tax. And my position on a property tax is clear. I campaigned to and eliminated this former city property tax that we had. So I'm committed to the low tax heritage. Nobody can predict the future, don't know what it's going to do in the future, but I've proven that I'm serious about that. And what I'd really like to see is a home rule charter amendment that would allow for citizen approval of any future increases in the city property tax. This is one of the fundamental parts of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights that I support and believe in. So essentially we would ask the citizens of Mt.Juliet, do you want a property tax? Here's what it would go for. It would go for this project, or it would continue these services, and let the citizens tell us when they're ready to pay a higher property tax. So again, a home rule charter change to require citizen approval for any future increases in the city property tax, I think, is the cornerstone of this issue. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Elam.
Well, I think the main thing that we can do that is within our grasp and ability, and that the citizens actually expect of us, is to budget wisely. Government, my philosophy as a fiscal conservative is that government will spend every penny you give it. Whether it needs it or not, if the money's there, it's going to be spent. One way to counter that is to be stingy. And boy, I can squeeze a penny as hard as anybody else out there. Be stingy with that money, and that's how you keep the government working efficiently instead of becoming full of red tape and bureaucracy that people are stumbling over themselves. You've got to also refrain from spending money that you don't have to spend on needs when times are good, so that you have that money available when times are not so good. One of Mt.Juliet's things that I'm proud of right now is, although the rest of the country is obviously going through an economic turmoil, we've remained fairly steady. We've had a bit of a bump, but not very much at all compared to what other people are going through. Sales tax revenue has grown about $1 million a year while I have been the mayor. It has grown almost $4 million during my term. As I said, we're staying fairly steady. And the amount of what sales tax was when Kevin Mack was the mayor is about how much it's increasing annually under my time here. I do agree that the question is focused on should Mt.Juliet have a property tax, and I will say that I will never vote to impose a property tax without a referendum from the citizens saying they want it first. And the only reason I can envision that you would need a property tax in the next 4 years is if we decided to do a Mt.Juliet City Fire Department. Obviously, we don't have the resources available with our current funding streams to do that. But if it ever comes to the day where we're going to seriously talk about a fire department, I would want the citizens to vote in a referendum that they wanted a property tax specifically to get more fire protection. Other than that, I don't believe we need it.
Jim Bradshaw.
Thank you. We have, I'm looking for more revenue coming into the city from existing businesses and also from new businesses. Thank you, Randy. When we did the budget this year and voted on it for 08, 09, no businesses that were online at the time were put into them figures. Since then, we've got 2 Rivers Forward. We've got 2 public stores will be opening, the second one November of next year over in Providence area. We've got Red Lobster. We've got Lowe's, Walmart. Another restaurant had their grand opening yesterday. We have many big boxes coming online, and I'm expecting sales tax revenue support from that. Number 2, apply and utilize more grant possibilities. We're doing that now. We need to do it more and see what's available. Fiscal and conservative responsibility. Since I've sat up at this table, I have squeezed that dollar very hard, and a lot of the other commissioners and mayors have too, so I give them credit. We have got the most, or overall tried to get the most out of the dollar for what we are getting in. And another thing, and I guess another thing that makes me squeeze that dollar even more, when I was a kid, we had outdoor toilets. I mean, I don't think they had microwaves then, but we had outdoor toilets and stuff like that. And I was tickled once a week to get a double cola and a hamburger when they went to the grocery store. So now I'm doing better. But I have been through that. I have been through them years. And it takes me back to remember things like that. And bottom line is, I am opposed to a city property tax. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That ends our round of questions.